Every little girl grows up dreaming about her happy ever after, but most of us don't have fairy tale scriptwriters making sure we get it. That's where the Happy Ever After show comes in. If you have been waiting for a fairy godmother to wave her magic wand and release your frustrations, create the prosperity you want, and live a life you love, then listen closely. It's time to learn how to make your own wishes come true with your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Happy Ever After show. I'm your host, Cassie, and I have a special guest with me today. I'm very excited to introduce you to. I'd like to welcome Jenny Gain to the show. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Cassie.
Hey.
I'm like all big smiles over here. I just love hearing you.
I love that you're here. I love getting to record with you. So for those of you who don't yet listen, Jenny and I have a show on the Law of Attraction Radio Network called Manifest It Now. And I am actually going to be taking a break from the Happy Ever After show. So this will be the last episode of this season. The next season is TBD at this moment. But I wanted to bring Jenny on for a couple of reasons. Number one, because I would love for you guys to get to hear from her and get to hear a conversation about creating a business that you love. And number two, so that you can get introduced to her and you can come on over to Manifest It Now and listen to our show, which we do every week. It's on a law of attraction topic, stepping into what you want to be, do, and create in the world. And so I just wanted to introduce her. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure. So you guys are going to get to hear, I guess you don't get to laugh too much when you're just on your here solo, do you, Cass?
I don't. It's not, I miss you. Because, yeah.
So if you guys jump over and hear Manifest It Now, we have a lot of fun together. We like to laugh.
We do. Yes, we do. So if you want to spend 30 minutes and enjoy some laughter and some knowledge and some insight, you can find us at LOAradionetwork.com or on iTunes at Manifest It Now. So before we jump into our interview, I just want to highlight, I know that a lot of you have joined my Manifest 10K course. And if you are, you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, and you're looking to really increase your money mindset, this is a great course for you. So you pay $1 to get started, and then you pay after you manifest. So it's a no-brainer. But what's really cool about it is that it walks you through the process of increasing your money mindset. This is the same process that I followed. It's what I did to open up my money mindset and to create my business success as an entrepreneur. So you can join by going to manifest10k.com.
That's really cool that you speak of that, Cass, because we just a few days ago were talking about how there's so many courses out there that will say, okay, I'll teach you how to get more money, but they don't focus on the actual vibrational shift that needs to happen in your energy for you to be able to stick it. Okay, so maybe you're going to be able, they'll teach you how to make 10 grand, but then how are you going to do that after, on your own? And Cassie's course will teach you how to change the energy of who you are so that you can do it again and again and again and again, because you're that new person and you're just abundant now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that you highlighted that. So what made me want to say is if anyone is listening and they've taken like a sales course, they've taken any sort of business type course that they haven't been able to get the results promised, take Manifest 10K and then go back and, do that course or, do it again, look at your notes, whatever. But if it wasn't successful, likely the problem was your money mindset. And so when you get that going in the right direction and amped up, like everything else that you've learned and invested in your business to learn will be more successful.
And it's easier, right? Because you're lining up with the vibration of abundance, and then everything comes in just easier. It's not so much hard work. That's why I love law of attraction.
Me too. Yeah, it is so much easier when you get your money mindset, and you're lined up with abundance. Business is so much easier, right?
It's fun and it's an adventure. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So cool. So yeah, I'm excited about, I've just been doing a lot of revamping on the mental side of my business and stepping into my future self and how I want my business to look, just the next iteration of it. And so that's what's been going on in my world. I'm excited to see how things are coming together. And that's sort of how I made this decision to give myself a little more time to focus on the people that I'm serving and also give myself more time for the pool, to be honest. Yeah, because, I went into business for that reason, is to have the time. And when I looked at my schedule, honestly, it was feeling a little bit full. And so I asked myself, how can I free up the space? And Jenny and I will probably talk about this a little bit later in the show, but I know living the life and having the experience now that I'm going to have when I have a bigger business, which, be more freedom, more time freedom, more all this, is going to actually make that happen faster. Yeah.
100%. And I can totally see, I was going to mention, yes, the best way for you to serve everyone that you want to serve is for you to serve yourself first. And Cassie practices what she preaches.
That's right.
Yes.
I do. Yeah. Which is so important in business, right?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah. All right. So I'm excited to dive into this topic of we're going to call it creating the business that you love and really running a business that you love and that feels really good.
What an amazing topic.
Right?
It's so important to me. I think that's probably one of the biggest things in my whole life is doing what I love.
Yeah.
It's just that foundational thing you take. Why bother doing not things that you don't love? And if there's things, I know there's things we have to do, but then we can find a way to make them feel different or feel good. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So why don't you start by just telling everybody a little bit about your business, what you do?
Okay, so my coaching business, is just a law of attraction coaching business. And so I work with clients one-on-one, and most of my clients have a foundational knowledge in law of attraction. And so they come to me looking for specifics in whatever's happening in their life. And I have the perspective that I'm not teaching them anything new, right? I'm just kind of guiding them back to what they already know and the knowledge that's there. The innate knowledge. So it's all about tapping into that, what you already know, and that intuition that's within you as well. And so, yeah, so that's my business. I do that. Clients all around the world, and I love it. And it's part of, it's been such an awesome process getting to where I am. And it is such a business I love. And I'm sure we'll touch into this again as we move forward, but when the feeling I get after coaching with someone on the phone, I get off and I have that high. I'm sure you feel the same thing, Cass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's just there's some I feel the desire to serve the world, but to know that these people are usually feeling better after we speak, definitely at some point during the week, is just totally fills me up, fills my heart up, and is yes, this is right. This is what I love to do.
Cool. So I already know the answer to this, I think, but I'm going to ask it anyway so everybody listening can hear. Scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love your business?
100. Okay, that's probably an exaggeration. And you know what? I always love to leave a little bit of room because I absolutely love my business. I 10 out of 10 love coaching my clients. I give it an 8 out of a 10 for where my business is at in terms of how it's showing up. There's things that still have space to grow and be absolutely perfect. But it's funny because we're so trained to think yes, it's happening right now, exactly as I want it. And so it's, even when you ask me that, I'm yeah, it's totally perfect. And it's going to get more and more perfect as it evolves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So was there ever a point where your business wasn't super fun, or did it start out super fun because of what you know?
Oh, it's went through phases, I think. Mm-hmm. So super fun when I started, and then I got caught up in the everything I think I should do to be successful. And then I was whoa, and tapped back into how I want it to be. And then now I'm a pretty consistent, solid, I love it. And it is exactly what I want it to be. And it's it's really easy for it to continue down this path. Like, so I think there's a little bit of learning at the beginning, up and down. And then I feel like, yeah, I love it. And because I know more, like it's been some time developing clarity on what does feel good and what I do love, then now like having the clarity, it's easy to say, yes, this fits. No, this doesn't fit. Yes, this fits. No, this doesn't fit.
What so good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what about you? Same question. I'm sure
did it always feel good?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure all the listeners have they heard your story?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
So it did not always
You
feel
didn't
awesome.
always love it.
No. Sometimes I think I loathed it. I just was like, oh my God, I have to make this happen.
Really? Your coaching practice?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is crazy. And I was doing a little bit different work. It wasn't like totally LOA, but I mean, it was law of attraction. It just was different than I do now. But like, I just was so determined. I wanted to get out of my job. And so I was like, I'm going to force this to work. It's going to work. And I really thought, speaking like you said, everything I should do, like I thought there were all these things I should do. One of the shoulds I thought was like work 24/7. Like I had to sacrifice everything, I thought, if I wanted that to come true. And so, I was already working like 50 to 60 hours a week at my job. So like any other time really was like for business. And that didn't yield a lot of success.
Right. But what's really cool, and I think sometimes we may overlook, especially in LOA world, is all that contrast and all that like, oh my God, I got to get out of this. I got to do something different. Like that, you needed that to make a step, to like make the step forward. And then, so it had this like immensely important purpose that served you. And then it was just like another adjustment. Then you gain more clarity from where you were then. Did that make sense?
That's so true. Yeah. I love how you can always highlight how something, is positive. I love that about you. And so what that came to is like, I'm not going to like work so hard that I hate it. Like I'm going to do it easy. I'm going to do it the easy way is really what came out of that.
So it was like, I'm working really hard and I don't like my job. Okay. I'm going to switch my job. Okay. It's not the thing I'm doing. It's how hard I'm working. It doesn't matter what I'm working at. And so like the levels of clarity just keep unfolding.
Yeah. So yeah, I really made a choice when I quit my job that like business was going to be easy.
Yeah. Well, one of the fun things that I've been playing with lately in the past few months is actually during the transition into making my business more fun and more something I love is that my business is an adventure. And to me, that's like, cause I love adventure, right? To me, it's exciting and it doesn't have to be easy, but it's definitely going to be fun and it's going to be a mystery and it's going to be challenging, but rewarding and enough for me to grow. And it's like adventure is just that word for me that encapsulates it all. And I was like, yes, I want my business to be an adventure.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Right. I like it. And that's so you, like, that's such a word that describes really, I think, how you want to live your life.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah. So talk to us like what shift did that make by seeing like business as an adventure instead of a bunch of things you should be doing?
Oh my gosh. It's so hard to explain energy sometimes because it's such a feeling. And so when I would think about my business, and this was a long time, I was stuck in a business is hard mentality for a while and it wasn't going anywhere, but I knew enough to just let it be, like something else will come and don't stress about it. But it didn't feel good. And I knew it didn't feel good. So I wasn't putting the energy into trying to make it different. When this kind of idea of my business is an adventure came up, it was like an instant, like I say that it still brings up the feeling. But as soon as I read that, I was like, yes, that's it. And it was like, I guess if I could explain it, like it just feels like opening and lighter and relief and fun versus heavy and like work. And that is like so much of what we do, right? Is finding a different way to look at something so that the energy behind it shifts. So the energy behind the actions start to shift and you take that energy, the positive energy that you want into whatever you're doing. And then you get the results you want versus like pushing through and paddling through. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I loved it. I love listening. Yeah. It makes such a difference. And I think you said it too, like what you weren't successful when it was heavy and didn't feel good, right?
Mm-mm. And I actually like, I wouldn't even say successful. I was like, I didn't even do anything. It was like, it just kind of was going along. And in the back of my mind, it's interesting because I had, like, I'm so dedicated to and committed to doing what I love that when it doesn't feel good, I'm like, it's stifling because I'm like, crap, I can't do anything because I'm not feeling it. And the people around me that, mostly my family, that are like, okay, well, you should be doing something now with your business. I'm like, well, I am. I'm honoring the way I'm feeling. They're like, all right, okay.
I love it. And so, and you've been like, now you're successful. Like, I would love for you to share about this week in your business.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. So last week I was speaking to a friend of mine and we were talking about business and he's saying, oh, yeah, how many clients you have? Okay, yeah, okay, what's your goal? Okay, cool. And we're just kind of having a discussion about it, be sharing our successes. And so then it was this week on Tuesday that I was like, hey, ask me how many clients I have. And so he asked me and he's like, oh my God, you doubled your clients in a week. And I'm like, yep, I did. And so it was just one of those fun success stories that is fun to share and to highlight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it really came out of having a really fun week, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Like it was a week that I was not distracted, but I was just having a lot of fun and not having the hard work mentality. But still, I have to say, Cass, I didn't mention this before, is I still have that underlying knowing, like I'm constantly telling myself by feeling good and having fun, you're growing your business. Mm-hmm. And so all the energies is still happening and clients are coming in and I'm getting emails and whatnot just by being free and being in that resistance free place. And mind you, I did still do, like, I have my alignment practice that is foundational to my success. So that's something that stayed constant.
But the big change is like having fun and knowing that the more fun you have, the better your business is. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Totally. And that's something like you can start to tell yourself, or anybody can start to program into their belief system. You know, something I read, one of the affirmations at one point was, the less I do, the more I make. And I was like, ooh, I like that one.
Right? Yeah. It's one of the reasons, like, I was sort of joking, but not really, about like why, like, I love doing this show. I love the feedback that I get, but you know, like, I know if I'm overwhelmed or at all, or feeling like, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm to the point of overwhelm. I'm just like busier than I'd like. Mm-hmm. Then I know I'm not making as much money as I could be.
Because you're not feeling as free and as good, right?
Exactly, which is foundational for me to feel about my business.
Right. And so sitting by the pool is going to be more beneficial, literally, than feeling the almost overwhelmment or the busyness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I have a new sort of passive income thing that I'm setting up in terms of business. And on Tuesday, like afternoon, I was just like, I'm just not feeling it. Like, I'm going to take a break. And, you know, at first I was like, you should be working. And I was like, no, I should be like feeling good. Mm-hmm. And I'm not feeling good right now. Mm-hmm. So like, let's just binge watch a show on Netflix all night. And it was funny. It was like, but at that moment, and I got this pretty big like passive income sale that came in that night. And I was thinking about it the next day. I'm like, that came in at like almost the exact moment I decided to like let go of work for the day.
That is so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I love those stories.
Me too. And it's like, that's the way it always happens,
it
right?
It always happens. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's worth mentioning too that, like, Cassie and I may make it sound like we just like snapped into this, but for me personally, it was practice feeling this way. So like I can remember like having the times where it's like, yes, I feel like I should be working and things aren't flowing enough. And I'm like, okay, well, I should feel good. And so I would go try to have fun, but my head would be still in that space of I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough because I'm not working on my business. And so would you say it's definitely a transition to get to that place where you actually believe and feel and know that doing less equals more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I still have to practice it.
I agree.
Like,
yes.
I'll be good, and then some things will come along and I'll have to like step back and go, oh, I'm not feeling as good as I would like or as free as I would like. And then do an evaluation and like come back to what I know. And it took a while to believe like that was going to create my success, like to really, honor that and learn, like the more I feel how I want to feel, the more successful I'm going to feel.
Right. And that probably came by doing it a few times and then being aware enough to observe the evidence in your life.
Yeah. You want to know what when it became like the biggest, I realized it the most?
Yes.
I was switching over money to manifest 10K. And so I was doing it. Like I do everything that I tell other people to do. So I did it before I released the new version. And when I went through the exercises, I was like, freedom was what came up if I, had manifest $10,000. And I was like, you should already be feeling free because you don't have to go to work every day. I was like, this is a problem. Like, this is, like a kind of a big, not a too big of a problem.
Big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Like it was something that needed to be addressed, like not a little bit, but a lot.
Yeah.
And so when I stood back and I looked at that and I was like, okay, how do I feel more free? Like I think you know this, but like, so just two simple ways that I activated that freedom in my life was stopping to watch Friends at like 2:00 in the afternoon for a half hour and taking Wednesdays off.
Yes.
And I attribute those not only to like manifesting that $10,000, manifesting more money from that certain round of Manifest 10K, but just for like all of the money that my business made, like for more than doubling my income last year, was figuring that out and like activating that freedom.
Yeah, that's cool. That reminds me of one of the big ahas I had last year with the business is, same thing, same feeling of freedom. I've always known that freedom was one of my values and one of my core, something that's very important to me. But I didn't realize. So I took 3 months off last year and started traveling. And when I say off, I mean I'm still coaching because I can do that from anywhere. But we were traveling around the States. And when I got to see Cassie.
Yeah.
But from the moment, like it was within 2 weeks of leaving. And when I started to feel free to be wherever I wanted to be doing what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And clients seriously rolled in like within 2 weeks of consistently feeling that freedom feeling. And I was like, oh my God, I wasn't feeling free before. Like that's the whole thing is, as you just say, feel it first. And then, but one of those ahas.
Yeah. I remember that. You're like, clients are just showing up. Like they just keep coming.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not doing anything different. I'm not marketing. I'm not looking for them.
Right. You were climbing mountains.
Yeah.
You definitely were like evaluating your marketing plan.
Exactly.
I can attest to that. I know what you were like.
Yep.
It's like, I'll see you later. I'm going to go climb this mountain today. Cool. See you tomorrow.
See you in 4 days.
Yeah. And you would get clients like every day or like every time you'd come back, you were kind of using my house, like, you'd come back and then go on an adventure and come back. And like every time I felt like you were like, oh, I got a new client. I got a new client.
Yeah.
And half the time, I think it's important to say, like, you weren't even in cell service. Like, you couldn't have been working.
True. Yeah, that was fun.
What advice would you give someone who's listening to us and being like, that sounds really great, but how do I know, like, sort of how do I get started? Like, if I'm, like, feeling overwhelmed or something, like, what advice would you give someone to sort of start going in the direction of the feeling that they want?
That's funny. I was thinking about that, like, as we were talking, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are in places where they're like, yeah, sure, I'd love to be doing what I love, but, I need to pay the bills kind of thing. And that might be your first thing that you can do is to start to open your mind to the possibility that you can have what you want. I think that's the biggest thing. And it's where I usually start with clients is because they've been practicing trying to figure out how to do it or how something is possible for so long, we kind of close ourselves off to possibilities. Because when we try to figure it out, like you can't figure out how things are going to happen. You're going to get stuck, right? So I think the biggest thing I did and what started my whole journey was the idea that it was possible that I could have what I want, but more specifically, because I've always known I've loved law of attraction. Then I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I can talk to people about this. Maybe I can teach this. Like I can teach them why I feel so good all the time and how I get what I want so easily. And then like from there, like as soon as you even just open up or tell yourself like I'm opening up to more possibilities, things start to show up, right?
Yeah, they do. Oh my gosh. So much. When you just open, like I love that you said that, just open to the possibility that you could have what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I keep going.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's something I keep reminding myself, like if something comes up and I find myself hitting my head against or trying to figure something out, so I'm like, wait, you can have it the way you want it. Stop trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. As you were saying that, I was remembering sort of when I figured it out. Like I tried really hard to make my business work on the side. And finally, I don't know if I've shared this story on the show yet, but I was like, what do you really want? And what I really wanted wasn't necessarily like a business. What I wanted was freedom.
Yes. And you ask that question all the time. The most important question you could ever ask yourself is, what do I really want?
Yeah. And so this was probably the first time I asked it. It was like 4 years ago, maybe. And it was like, what do I really want? And it was like, I want freedom. I don't want to have to go to work. It's not that I really want a business. Like I love my business and I like it when it can happen in the context of freedom, but I wanted freedom. And that was when I realized like the real estate opportunities just started popping up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's awesome. I loved having that visual as you told that story, because it's like opening up to the fact that you can have what you really want. And like we highlighted, I like asking the question, ask yourself, what do I really want?
And over and over.
Yes. Keep asking it.
Yeah. Whenever I get kind of stuck or something, that I'll always ask myself that. And then that brings you back to focusing on what you want versus what you don't have, and gets you just, refocused on back into, this is what I want. Okay.
Yeah. So really quick, just one simple tip about how to create a business that you love?
I just like smile and laugh when I think of this. I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's something to do with trust yourself and to follow your heart, to follow your excitement and your bliss. And like it's there. Your path is there.
Awesome. I love it. Well, I want to say thank you to Jenny for joining the show today.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Cassie. I love it. Speaking with
you're
you
welcome.
anytime.
I know, right? I love it. So this is what we do on our show on Manifest It Now. We bring business, money, relationships, weight loss, all of that, those examples into talking about how to create what you want on our show, Manifest It Now. So I would love you to find us on iTunes or go to LOARadionetwork.com and start listening to our show. I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of my community, for all of the reviews on iTunes that you've left for the Happy Ever After show, for the emails that I've gotten about the difference that it's made. And I'm looking forward to continuing getting to know all of you who are registered for Manifest 10K, which you can register for by going to manifest10k.com. I just want to wish you love and happiness and awesomeness in your business. And I'm going to leave you with one final mantra for now, just for now. And that is, I create what I love. I create what I love. Say it, open up to it, and have a fabulous week. Enjoy your life and your business.
Thanks for joining us on the Happy Ever After show, where you don't need a genie lamp to get your wishes granted. Now that you're inspired and ready to take action, get yourself on the path to your happy ever after by scheduling a complimentary strategy session at createmyhappyeverafter.com.